Blog Talk Radio.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Inez Bracy Show, Living Smart and Well, brought to you weekly at 2 p.m. on Monday afternoon. This has been a very different week in Central Florida. We had 4 gray, cold, rainy days. And I remember when I used to live up north, I thought nothing of those days being gray because that was just a given. But having those 4 days when the sun came out yesterday, I was doing a dance and beating the drums and doing everything I could think of to enjoy the sun. So we have sunshine again today, and it is absolutely, positively one of the best days this year. Every week I say to my listeners to please take out a pen or pencil and paper. Take notes. Write down those things that you hear that resonate with you, and then throughout the week, choose one, just one, and use it throughout the week, because I can guarantee you this. If you choose one nugget, one thing, and use it every week from my shows, you will discover your life will significantly change. And it changes so easily, it's almost as if you're really not putting any work into it, because you're doing it from something that you love, something that you heard that said, hey, this is what I want to do. And that makes a huge difference when you're ready to change your life. Doesn't matter what other people are saying. Let them keep saying what they're saying, and you keep being and doing what you're doing to create that lifestyle that you so yearn for, that lifestyle that is only for you because it is your idea and your dream. Today it is my pleasure and my joy to have with me Dr. Joe Vitale. To say that he is a man of many talents and accomplishments is an understatement. To millions of readers, seekers, listeners, and movie watchers, he is the man who speaks to their fervent desire to enhance their lives. Remember that nugget I tell you to write down. He is the source of simple but profound, life-changing wisdom, words that inspire, and music that touches their hearts. He shows that miracles can be achieved every day. Dr. Vitale is a luminary of the personal growth world, one of the stars of the blockbuster film The Secret, and the author of multiple best-selling books, including The Attractor Factor, Life's Missing Instruction Manual, The Key, Faith, Attract Money Now, and his latest is a sequel to his bestseller, Zero Limits, entitled At Zero, which we will be talking about today. The man known as Mr. Fire introduces people to universal laws, practical systems, and methodologies that provide an astonishing pathway to freedom from limitations and a means to achieve unlimited personal power with wealth and success. In short, achieving miracles, and it seems like magic, and I think it probably is a little bit magical when you get started on this path. For this man who has reinvented himself many times over by expanding into entirely new areas that inflame his passion, music is the newest way that he expresses himself. He is now credited as the world's first self-help singer-songwriter, as noted in Rolling Stone magazine. Joe, a collector of prized and celebrated guitars, became accomplished on that instrument with extraordinary speed and has already released 6 albums. Several of his songs were recognized and nominated for the Posy Award, regarded as the Grammys of positive music. He's been featured on CNN, CNBC, CBS, ABC, all of the different channels, and he's been showcased in the New York Times and Newsweek. Joe continues to speak around the world and produce a powerful body of work to help people clear their blocks and create a clear pathway to personal and financial success so they can live the life that impassions them. Besides of his many books, he's recorded many hugely successful audio programs. He has created a miracles coaching program that helps people achieve their dreams by understanding the deeper aspects of the law of attraction and the law of right action. Ho'oponopono, the cornerstone of Zero Limits and at Zero, is also an integral part of the Miracles Coaching Program. Dr. Vitale is an authentic practitioner of modern Ho'oponopono. He is also a certified Reiki healer, certified Qigong master practitioner, certified clinical hypnotherapist, certified NLP practitioner, ordained minister, and holds a doctorate in metaphysical science. Can you believe that Dr. Joe was once homeless, but today he is a best-selling author who believes in magic and miracles because he has created them for himself? Dr. Joe Vitale, welcome to the show.
Thank you. You were so kind to give that introduction. But, you know, out of everything you said, what's sticking with me the most is that you have sunshine and I don't. Here in Texas, it's cloudy and drizzly and dark and it's cold, which is unusual for Texas. But here I am, and you're in Florida, and the sun came out. So I want to be with you.
Well, you are. We are right here,
I am with
right
you,
now,
aren't I?
in space and time. Yes, yes, yes. Now, when we talk about where you are now and from whence you have come, can you tell us a little bit about being homeless and what was it that made you change your mind and decide you could do better?
Wow. Well, yeah, I was homeless 35 some years ago. I guess it was in the late 1970s, and I was in Dallas, Texas. And I was working on myself, but you have to remember, we didn't have wonderful shows like this. We didn't have the Internet. We didn't have a lot of freebies or courses or coaching and all of that, and I was very much on my own. I didn't even have a car because people would say, well, you were homeless. What kind of car did you live in? And I would think, wow, I wish I had a car to live in. I didn't. And I would go to the public library in downtown Dallas, and I would be inside there all day long because I was hiding from the heat, which I wasn't used to. And I was reading all the self-improvement books and the pop psychology and metaphysics and philosophy and psychology. And all the books kept talking about personal responsibility and really pushing my face into the reality that I didn't want to accept, that I was homeless and I was struggling and starving and really pitiful because of myself. And that was really tough to get, but I kept looking in the mirror, so to speak, and it kept pushing my face in it, and I finally looked at the idea that I had beliefs, negative limiting beliefs that were keeping me there. And when I woke up to the realization that I was actually putting myself through this melodrama because I thought that in some way it would make me a great writer because I wanted to be an author. I wanted to write books that made a difference, but I didn't know how. Somehow my belief system said, look, if you have a dramatic life, an unhappy life like Jack London and Ernest Hemingway and other authors I admired, then I could be a great author like them. And when I realized that was wrong, and that was a belief system, and that was a mindset of lack and limitation, and began to change it, that was the turning point. And so today I live this lifestyle. It's the lifestyle of the rich and famous pretty much, and the old homeless and poverty Joe is like another lifetime. It's like it's a past life. And I tell people, look, I'm no different than anybody else. Anybody can change. It's an inside job. You have to work with your beliefs, and when you do, change your beliefs, and your outer reality will change. The really good news is you don't have to do it on your own. You have shows like this. You have books like mine. You have coaching that's out there. You have seminars. There's all kind of tools available to us on the Internet. We have it easy today compared to what it was 30, 40, or even way back beyond that. That's the short answer.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. And you really hit on something that is so dear to me because many of us have these beliefs. And we got them just by being born in the environment we were in and where we are and all this other stuff.
That's exactly right, yes.
How do we get, and this is going to get us to Ho'oponopono. I love it. I got it. I was first introduced to it about 7 years ago, and it keeps coming back. It keeps coming back. So when I had the opportunity to talk with you, I got really excited.
Well, the new book, the one we're talking about, is called At Zero. And this book goes deeper into this Hawaiian healing method that can help all of us, no matter where we're at and what we're going through. And the first thing to understand, it's all about personal responsibility. There's no blame involved in this. You can't go and point to other people, and you can't say, well, because my parents taught me to not trust men or not trust women, I can't have a relationship today. And you can't go and point to somebody and say, well, my school system taught me that there wasn't enough money to go around and there's lack and limitation. You can't point to anybody. You have to own that the programming you have is the programming you have. That's what you got. It was downloaded into you from birth until this moment. The good news is you can change the programming. So the first step to understand is that it is your responsibility. This is not about guilt. It's not about blame. It's not about self-punishment. It's not about lacking in any way or being stupid. It's about taking responsibility for who you are and what you have right now. That's the wonderful first step. The second step is learning how to unravel your own belief system. Those beliefs are programming. That's a mindset. It's a paradigm. They came to you from family and friends and the educational system, religious system, the culture. You probably even inherited some from grandparents and grandfathers and all of that all the way back through time. And we can unravel that. Now, how do we do that? That's what I write about in this book called At Zero. It's a very simple method, as you know, because you've known about it for 7 years. But it's a very simple method based on 4 phrases, and the 4 phrases are, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, and thank you. That's it. I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. In essence, I tell people, whatever you're experiencing, good, bad, or indifferent, if you're mad at somebody or you're frustrated with something or you don't have enough money or you're having an unhappy health experience or relationship, whatever's going on in your life, you are feeling it. That's great. You feel it. Now, as you're feeling it, you say these 4 statements to your connection to divinity. And that could be your connection to a higher power, your connection to God, your connection to the divine, whatever it is for you. Could even be your connection to nature, whatever the word is for you. And you're saying, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, which are the 4 phrases. They're like a song, they're like a psalm, they're like an open sesame, they're the combination code to unlock your healing. And from these statements, some of the most amazing miracles, I wrote about some in my first book on this subject, Zero Limits, and then, of course, in this new book, At Zero. And it's just, as you know, right, it's phenomenal.
It is phenomenal, but when you say, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, and thank you, is there something else? That seems just like it's just too easy.
Right. And that's what I love about it, is that it is so simple. But there's more to it, and that's why I wrote the new book, At Zero, to explain it. I'll try to explain it in the limited time that we have, but what you're really saying is, I'm sorry for being unconscious. Please forgive me for the limiting beliefs and the mindset and the paradigm that I inherited from family, friends, and the environment. Thank you for erasing it, deleting it, doing whatever needs to be done to remove it from my body and mind. And I love you, returning to the source of love, because I think this divinity or God or nature, whatever you want to call the higher power, if there's any words to describe it, the closest is unconditional love. So all of these 4 phrases are like a shorthand statement for a larger process, because it's all about forgiveness, it's all about love, it's all about gratitude, and these statements are moving you in the direction of transmuting energy and transforming yourself. Now, I've done this long enough to know that people say, okay, I can say I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, but I don't want to say it because I didn't do anything wrong. I'm not sorry about anything, so I don't need forgiven for anything. And I'll point out that if you were walking through a grocery store and you bumped into somebody, you would probably turn and say, I'm sorry. Why? All you're saying is, I wasn't aware. Please forgive me for bumping into you. That's the same essence of feeling quality when you say, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. It's not about self-blame. It's not about guilt. It's not about feeling bad. It's about responsibility. It's about letting go. It's about forgiveness. It's about gratitude. It's about love. So those 4 phrases are a shorthand. I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. It's a shorthand for a very longer process, but that's really all you need to know to begin doing it right now. You don't even need my book at 0. You can start today.
That's awesome. I love what you said about I wasn't aware, and so many of us are walking around in total unawareness.
I totally agree. But, we're all like that, including myself. The fact that I was homeless at one point means that when I was homeless, I was truly oblivious to the programming that was making me create choices that led me into homelessness and even after that, poverty for a very long time. Oblivious to it. Well, today I am...
Dr. Joe, you said create that.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. We are all creating our life experiences. The difference is almost none of us are aware of it. Almost none of us are awake to it. Life is a co-creation. We're creating it between what we're thinking and feeling and doing, our actions, as well as what the rest of the universe is responding to us. It's a co-creation. We're not here totally alone. And when I was homeless, I did create that, but I didn't know it. If I had known it, I could have done something about it, but I didn't know it. I was unconscious. Now today, because I live this different lifestyle, I'm conscious of the beliefs that I did have. They're gone. The beliefs about scarcity and limitation, they're gone. The beliefs about not deserving success or not deserving to be loved or be liked or be happy or be prosperous, they're gone. And I'm pointing all of this out because every one of your listeners is going through something. I wrote a song on my first album. It's called Everybody's Going Through Something. And it's the message that I don't care who's walking down the street, they all have some sort of challenge in their lives, something they're wrestling with. For a lot of people, they'll wrestle with it all the way to their graves because they won't find a way out. What I'm doing is saying, look, I found a way out. That's how I changed my life. That's how I'm helping a lot of different people. That's how I'm trying to end homelessness in the country. That's why I've written this book and the other books. I'm saying that every single listener can awaken to the beliefs that have been programmed in them and release those beliefs. And one of the easiest ways to do it is with these 4 statements. I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. It's a starting point, and it's all in the book at 0.
Now, if we were to start saying that, even though we didn't believe it, we just say it and just, keep doing it, would it still work for us?
Yes. That was a question I asked the man who taught me the method, and it's in the book Zero Limits because my whole question to him and his answer is in there. And he said, yes, you can just start saying it. You won't believe it at first, but as you keep repeating it, it'll start to become one with you, and you'll start to see it working, and then you'll start to believe it, and then it'll become more true. But you can fake it till you make it, so to speak, as the William James famous quote was all about. Just pretend that it's already working and start saying it. I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. Saying it as a mantra. And I like pointing out to people, look, most of us are walking around with some horrible garbage going on in our head. We're being very judgmental of ourselves and other people. We're putting ourselves and other people down all the time. How much better will we feel if all we did was change that to I love you? Even if we left off the other statements and we just start walking around and in our heads we're saying, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, we'd have a smile on our face and a beam in our eyes and a spring in our step, and we'd all be interacting with each other differently. So it all begins by just starting the process, whether you believe in it or not, and then let it grow on you as you see it working.
And what I like about this book when I was reading it, it all begins with us, and everything else begins with us. I know in your book you talk about Dr. Hugh Lin.
Yes.
And you mentioned something about out there, and he says there is no out there.
Right. Yeah, that was a big thing to grasp because most of us are thinking that there is a whole world outside of us. But what Dr. Hugh Lin was pointing out is that we experience everything inside of ourselves, which is a huge point to really grasp. One of his semi-humorous statements is he'll ask the question, have you ever noticed that whenever there's a problem, you are there?
Yeah.
When you notice it, you start to think, in some way, shape, or form, you're participating in it. And it's all about your perception, which means that everything you see on the outside is being filtered through your brain. It's being filtered through your existing belief system. The belief system I had when I was homeless is that I was a victim. The world was out to get me. There isn't enough for anybody or everybody. I am probably going to fail and die in the streets. Those were the belief systems. Well, I'm the same guy, but I don't have that belief system. So when I look out through my eyes today, my filters are different, and I look out and going, wow, what a wonderful world we live in, and look at the magic and miracles, and look at the unlimited abundance, and look how there's prosperity for anybody and everybody who wants it. It's all changed inside me. The outer world's still the same. Everything's different in me, which means when I look out to the outer world, I see a different world than I did back in the late 1970s. This is available to every single one of us. I don't care who they are and what they're going through. That's the magic and miracle of this Hawaiian healing technique that I talk about in the book.
Now, Dr. Joe, what do you say to people say, that's my belief and I've always had it and I'm just stuck with it?
That's the belief itself. When somebody says that's my belief and I've had it for all this time, so I'm stuck with it, guess what? That's a belief. We are so surrounded with beliefs that we don't even know them when we see them because we think that's reality. This is why I started Miracles Coaching 5 years ago, because I realized that for some of us, not all of us, but for a lot of us, we need to have somebody on the outside of us say back to us what we're saying so we can hear it in a detached way. We need a coach who is saying, do you realize that what you just said is a belief? It's not a fact. It's not universal. It's not something we can all agree on. So it's subject to interpretation, and it's probably a belief. When you start hearing that these different things that you're taking for reality are actually beliefs, you start to shake loose the programming. Just like anybody who could have said that, oh, I've had that belief since I was 5 years old, so I'm stuck with it. Once they hear that that very statement is a belief, they start to get a sense of freedom. They start to loosen the hold on the beliefs. Because these beliefs are not hardwired into us. We made choices about them a long time ago. We can make choices now as adults to keep them, replace them, surrender them, delete them, let them go. And great freedom and power await when we do it.
Ooh, I like that. Great freedom and power. And that brings me to something you talk about in your book. And you talk about using the whiteboard.
Yeah.
And I just loved it because it made it so clear. Can you tell us a little bit about the whiteboard metaphor and how that works?
Yeah, when I started giving public talks and seminars on this Hawaiian healing method, I was searching for a way to describe it. And I didn't want to say some of the metaphors that people have said before because then I'm dragging in other baggage and then I have to re-explain it. So I came up with the idea of the whiteboard, and I would say that when we're born, we're like a whiteboard. We come in, and for the most part, not entirely, but for the most part, we're blank slates. But what happens is people start writing beliefs on our whiteboard. Think of the whiteboard as your unconscious mind. So you come in, and it's basically white. But then somebody says one day there isn't enough money to pay the bills. And you write down on the whiteboard, there isn't enough money. And then one day somebody is fighting over a relationship, and maybe they break up, and maybe there's a divorce, and somebody says, oh, all the good ones are taken, or true love never lasts. And you write on the whiteboard, true love never lasts. And so you get to the point where you're an adult, and everything written on the whiteboard is your programming. And it's operating without you thinking about it because most of that stuff was written before you were aware of anything. You weren't conscious. You were still a baby. What we're doing today with what I write about in the book At Zero and in the earlier book Zero Limits is erase the beliefs on the whiteboard. The more we say the phrases like, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, the more you can see an eraser wipe off each one of those beliefs, with the goal being getting back to zero. Zero is when there's nothing on the whiteboard. There's zero on the whiteboard. At that point, you can receive inspiration from divinity, from God, from the higher power, from the universe, about your life, about what to do next. And you can live this happy, majestic, miraculous life because all the baggage is gone. You're back to zero. The whiteboard is cleaned and cleared, and now you are free. That's the power of the whiteboard, and I love the image because we can all visualize that whiteboard, and we can visualize stuff written on it, and we can visualize erasing it and it being white again.
Exactly. I love it, too, and we have like 4 minutes left, and it's really rolling here
Time flies when you're having a blast, right?
Yes, it does. And I'm looking, in your book you talk about clearing tools, and then we talk about, you already say what at zero is, and it's about joy. Can we talk a little bit more about clearing tools and give us a couple examples of those in the next 3 minutes?
Well, okay. Well, clearing tools are anything that helps you dilute or delete those beliefs that are keeping you from the whiteboard, that are keeping you from this moment. And so one of the very first tools is the one we've mentioned, and that's doing a meditation where you're thinking of and feeling whatever it is that's going on in your life, and you're saying, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And you can say those phrases in any order. They don't have to be in the order I just gave them. However it feels to you, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And you're saying them internally as you're feeling whatever's going on, and you're saying them, imagining it going as a kind of a communication to divinity, to God, to nature. So that's a cleaning tool. I believe the cover of the book itself is a cleaning tool because the artwork was done in such an inspired way that when the publisher showed it to me, I looked at it and I went, oh, good Lord. I could feel that by looking at it and just kind of meditating or contemplating it, that it was shifting and deleting negative programs or negativity within me. And anybody can see the cover because the book's on Amazon, the book's in bookstores. So, I mean, you can go online and see a cover or go to the website if you don't mind me saying it. The website is www.atzerobook.com, atzerobook.com. And the cover is there. So you don't even have to buy the book. You can just look at the cover and get a sense of what I'm talking about. So that's another clearing tool right there. And then the man who taught me this Hawaiian healing method said a lot of different foods can be clearing tools. For example, he said eating blueberries would often delete programming and limiting beliefs. And when I first heard it, I thought, well, that was pretty weird, eating blueberries. But at the same time, I know that blueberries are considered to be a super antioxidant. It's a health food. It's a superfood. All the doctors say that's one of the best fruits for you to be eating. And so it seems like, well, there's 2 or 3 different benefits that come from just eating blueberries. So that's another example of what could be a clearing tool. And, of course, I'm creating music that I think is a cleaning and clearing tool, but we'll save that for another show.
Okay. What I'm really listening here, are clearing tools really necessary, or is it just if we just do the 4 phrases, we'll be fine?
If you do the 4 phrases, you'll be fine. The cleaning and clearing tools are added, well, they're just added tools. It's like you can have a hammer or various kinds of hammers to do the same kind of job. The job that we want done is to delete any limiting beliefs within us. We want to be free again. We want to get rid of the lack and limitation thoughts so we can have romance or love or health or money or whatever it is that we're longing for. We can have all of it. We deserve all of that. The only people blocking it is ourselves. So we just want whatever tool is going to help us break free. The simplest one is saying, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. The Hawaiian prayer, if you will. And again, you don't even need my book, but the book I think is entertaining and goes into this in more depth. But the 4 phrases is all you need right now to get started right now.
Awesome, and I love that. I really, and in your book, you have a couple of people in there whose names I recognized. And I was so excited, and I sent them a message saying, you're in Dr. Joe's book. Because, can you imagine how delighted I was to see somebody's name in your book that I recognized? It's awesome.
Yes, I can imagine, right. Very nice, very sweet.
We are just about out of time. We have about 30 seconds left, Dr. Joe. What is it you want our listeners to just take away from this show?
Well, I really think it's important that we all follow our passion. I think each one of us has something knocking at our inner door that says, this is what is for you to do. And when you follow your passion, everything in life seems to work. when I wasn't following my passion and I was trying to follow my logic or my ego, I just ran in the walls and ended up homeless and in poverty. When I started to listen to my intuition and that inner voice that said, you know what, this is what you want to do, you want to be a writer, you want to write this kind of material, and I started to pursue that, I've had a life that I couldn't even imagine back then. So I think it's important. Every single person has a mission and a calling and a life purpose. Follow your passion, and it can be revealed by doing so.
Awesome. And on that note, Dr. Joe Vitale, thank you so much for being on the Inez Bracy Show, Living Smart and Well.
I've loved it. You were doing wonderful work, and Godspeed to all your listeners.
Thank you so much. We will be back again next week. And remember, take one nugget, something that you heard today that resonates with you at a deep level, write it down, carry it with you, and do something with it every single day. And as you continue your self-growth process, you're going to find that your life definitely changes. And I know some people are saying, but if I change my life, I might lose some friends. Oh, well, you'll get some new ones because those are the ones that are holding you back, so you get to let them go. We will be back again next week with another guest giving you some more information that you can use immediately to significantly change your life. Go out and create a fantabulous week. There's my word, Dr. Joe.
I love it.
Have a great day.